Have you ever found yourself sitting across from a man, or you're sitting beside the man and you're looking at him and watching his behavior change right before your eyes? Okay. You're looking at him and you're wondering, why is it that I give this man so much respect, but the amount of respect I give him isn't the same amount of respect or quality of respect you're getting back, or that I'm getting back from him? Okay. And you see, by behavior, I mean his daily pattern of action, okay? Maybe in the way he shows up for you, or the way he speaks to you when he's upset or when he's frustrated, whether he's frustrated with you or with life, okay? Or maybe his consistency doesn't match his promises, all right? That is what I mean by his behavior, okay? And you see, it's also the real-time proof of how much he values your place in his life. That's just the truth, all right? Not just the sweet things he says when he's happy with you, or when you give him what he wants, okay? Or when you just get out of the bedroom, or when you're about to get into the bedroom, all right? My girlies know what I'm talking about, all right? Now, before I go into the topic, I want us to discuss something very, 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 very important and sensitive. Why strategy is not a game when it comes to relationship, all right? Because I know that, and I'm not saying strategy with authority, okay? Authority. Because I know someone might look at all my videos and ask, why do we need to play all these games just for a man? Okay? Why do we need to read and study and do all of these things just because of a man? But I want you to stop for a second and think about something, okay? Why is it that you need a strategy in every single area of your life, okay? Every single other area of your life. You think you need strategy in every single other area of your life. But when it comes to love, okay, you just want it to magically work out for you without doing anything, okay? You work for other area of your life, but when it comes to love, you want to pray about it and just let it be and just leave it to God, okay? I need you to think about it for a second. Oh, okay, you go to the gym, right, to keep fit, all right? And that is work and strategy. You go to school and you study hard. You study late into the night to become a professional. That is hard work and strategy, because if you don't study, you fail and you'll not become a professional, right? And then after studying hard, you get a job, okay? And then you put your best foot forward every single day to get a promotion at work. Let's say you are not working 9 to 5, okay? You have a business. If you build a successful business, you plan, okay? You plan every single move before you do anything, okay? You invest your sweat, your strategy, your blood, your rules or new rules, or you keep studying about new rules every day to make your business grow and be successful. But when it comes to the heart, the very thing that can make or mar your life, okay? You know that. That very single aspect of your existence, that if it's broken, it can completely shatter every other area. Okay. That very, very sacred part that decides whether you're sad or mad, or happy or angry, or heartbroken, okay, or excited, that part that can destroy your outputs at work if you're sad or mad or heartbroken, and your business or your health, you suddenly want to leave that entirely up to nature. Does that even make sense? Now let's clear the air right now, okay? You are not playing games. Don't let the devil deceive you, all right? You are applying wisdom. Wisdom, the Bible says, is profitable to direct. You're doing what is right okay, to get the right result, so you can protect your peace of mind. Because if you don't protect your peace of mind, you get in trouble. You know that. Okay. Certain boundaries are not tricks to manipulate a man. Okay. If you go to work late more than 3 times, you'll be fired if they're serious. Okay. Boundaries are like architectural blueprints for a safe, respectful life that you desire. Okay. I need you to please think about that again, so that you will know that when you're doing all these things, you're not playing games. Anyways, back to my story. Okay. Maybe you started out with the best intentions with this man. Okay. You were kind, you were sweet loving, they told you to be submissive, you were forgiving, and you always give him the benefit of the doubt in the positive way. And then in return, he started taking you for granted, okay? Because sometimes we do, all right? He began taking your time that is so precious to you like an afterthought, okay? He started crossing your lines even when you specifically draw them. And then he starts speaking to you with a tone that makes you think to yourself that what is it? What does this man think that I am? Okay? It makes you shrink inside of you. Or maybe he used to treat you like a princess, gives you this princess treatment, talks to you, he can't get enough of you. And now he treats you like an option that is not valuable, okay? An option that is not even important, a last option. And then you now do one thing that is so funny, you start making excuses for him. Sometimes you tell yourself, oh, it's because he's stressed. Or maybe he's busy. He's just busy at work. Or he's going through a lot. He has a lot on his plate, you know. But then you now realize that no, he doesn't have any a lot on his plate. Okay. Whatever he's doing to you right now is becoming a permanent routine. Okay. It's not because he's working or he's not working. And after you realize that, your mind is now exhausted. But you see, I want you to notice something. The most painful part of this situation, or the most agonizing part of this situation, is not actually his bad behavior, okay? Is the feeling of helplessness. You can't help it, okay? There is this heavy weight that keeps you up at night, and you can't even face him and ask him the question, okay? And the question is, why doesn't he see my worth? Why can't he see that I am worth more than the way he's treating me? Why can't he just think that it's not okay to treat me this way? Why does he think he can just treat me anyhow and there'll be no consequences? Why does he think he can just push me around and still get my love, my time, my big banging body? All right? You see, our hearts cannot heal when we keep giving our power away. All right, I'm going to say that as it is. Okay, we will always stay stuck because we are always waiting for him to wake up and realize he's hurting us, and that is not going to happen. Okay, you're not going to wish for it to happen, it will happen. And that's the reason I made this video today, because I want you to get your power back. All right, and this is not through manipulation. Okay, I want you to I want to hand you that exact playbook so that you can stop begging for the bare minimum, so you can stop asking him to respect you, and you can finally stop blaming yourself and start changing the dynamic. All right, that's what we're doing today. And this is not about being angry, okay, or being cold or being mean to men. Okay, you don't have to be that. You don't have to do that. There are so many wonderful men out there who want to cherish you and love you and respect you. Sometimes you don't want them. That's the problem. You see? But you see, there is a very specific technical truth about human nature, not just men, okay? But you see, because you're talking about men, men do not treat you based on your value. That is the truth, okay? They treat you based on what you tolerate. I'm going to say that again. They treat you based on what you tolerate. When you understand this psychology, okay, that is the exact key that would make you change how the world treats you, how the man in your life treats you. So, baby girl, you have to get comfortable. Okay, sit with me, get a paper and a pen, and let us unlock this secret together. Because I'm going to hand over everything to you. Okay, and before I continue, this is not for you to go and manipulate a man that does not want you, okay? That I'm not teaching you that. Let's talk about the psychology of soft landing, okay? And when we are talking about that, we need to talk about the green light effect or the feedback loop, okay? We're going to start with what happens in human interactions, specifically with a concept called social conditioning. Okay, social conditioning, yeah, that's what. And by social conditioning, I just mean the way people will test your boundaries to see how much they can get away with based on our reaction is the reality of life, all right? Social conditioning. Now, for many men, your behavior is guided by consequences. Consequences, all right? Not just by kindness, all right? Because you want to be a submissive partner, a supportive partner. You want to support him. Your brain, and you want to give him peace because he told you, I want peace. Your brain will want to overlook all the small disrespects to keep the peace because you want him to see you as this woman is different. So when he calls you to cancel his plans last minute, you teach him that. Or when there is a rude comment, you smile through it and you don't say anything. But you see, the moment you stay silent, his brain receives a subconscious signal. Okay? It's going to process your silence as a green light. That's a green light effect. Because it might lack emotional awareness. Okay? That's also possible. So, he is going to mistake your patience for permission. That's the truth. And then he's going to choose to push the boundary even further next time. Sometimes when you're kind to him, it can confuse that kindness with lack of self-respect. That's just the way we are, right? It can build an habit of treating you poorly because it has always been safe to do so. You taught him that he can do that and get away with it, right? And you see, let me come close to you. I know this is frustrating, but I didn't make the rule, all right? It is one of the very harsh realities of human nature. Okay. When you show someone that their bad behavior, okay, will cost a zero consequence or it has zero cost, they have zero reason to stop doing it. Okay, I'm going to say that again. When you teach a man that whatever he does to you would have no consequences, you are teaching him that he can continue to treat you that way. And if you don't stop it now, you can't stop it later. The next step is the word only boundary. The words only boundary. Okay. Now, let me explain what this means. This second pattern comes down to a mental mistake that we call empty boundary setting. Okay. You want to set boundary, but it's empty boundary. And you see, by empty boundary settings, I mean the habits that we have when we set boundaries with angry words, okay, just to complain about the bad behavior without ever changing your actual actions. Okay. For instance, you tell them if you say bad words or mean words to me, I will leave. And then when he says those things, you sit down there. A lot of women are conditioned to express their hurt through communication. That's the way we are. We like to talk, 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 talk. We like to talk, right? But you see, you can talk and talk and talk. You can cry. You can explain your feelings from now to tomorrow. You can send a long text message, long paragraph explaining why his actions hurt you. And then you get okay. But sometimes you say, I don't have anything to say to that. But you see, for many men, constant lecturing just sounds like background noise to them. Okay, that's the truth. And it will sound like that if it is not backed up by a change in your presence. Okay, if you don't take your presence away, if you don't take your time and access away, you're just making noise. All right. So when you complain about something and you still stay around, you know, to go, or you still go to dinner with him, or you text back immediately and you still give him your affection, your actions cancel out your words. All right. And then when you do that, is now realizing that your boundaries are just suggestions or maybe illusion, meaning that they have no real teeth. Okay, that's what it means. And the moment he sees that your anger never results in him losing access to you, he stops taking your words seriously and continues with that bad behavior. Look at it as your little bad little dog, okay? When you don't take your presence away from them, they will think you're happy with the behavior and they'll continue, right? And I know that this feels incredibly invalidating. I know. But it is what it is, okay? You cannot talk a man into respecting you. You can't. You can't do that, okay? Men are not women. You cannot talk him into respecting you, especially when your actions are telling him that he can keep disrespecting you and still keep you. Why do I need to disrespect you? Why do I need to respect you when disrespecting you does not cost me anything? You see that? Now we'll go to the next one, which is a compliance metric. All right. And you can also call that the respect threshold. And this third pattern is it's about how human beings measure your worth. All right. We can also call that how human beings measure your maybe value. Yeah. And you see, by respect threshold, I mean that exact line where a person realizes that they cannot mistreat you without losing you without losing you completely. All right, they can lose you if they mistreat you, but if they cannot lose you, they can mistreat you, nothing will happen. All right. And you see, the moment a woman enters a low respect threshold by accommodating things, every whim and everything that he does, and you accept his excuses, his respect for her will drop. It actually drops, okay? There's nothing you can do about it, okay? I know it sounds backward, but you see, human beings do not value things that are free, that are easy, and infinitely available, whatever, okay? You see, your compliance is not seen as a gift. It is seen as a lack of options. That's how men see you. Okay? You see, this entire dynamic changes when it realizes that it doesn't have to earn your respect. It doesn't have to earn your access. It doesn't have to earn your presence, not respect, your presence, okay? And he doesn't need to put his best foot forward because he already won, okay? So when you tell him that, he will treat you like a placeholder because he knows you're not going anywhere. In fact, he knows you're too afraid of losing him to ever walk away. You see that? And I know it's unfair. I know it's incredibly unfair to realize that your very kindness that you appreciate so much is being used against you. The things that they taught you in church, that your parents taught you. But you see, it is what it is. Okay. Some people only value a woman's presence when they know she has the strength to hand them her absence. Okay. If they know that if I mess up with this woman, she's gone, that's when they will appreciate you. Okay. Some men are not wired to appreciate you. The more you take their, you know, I don't want to say any bad word, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the next thing is the fear of abandonment leverage. All right. I'm getting upset, but that's fine. Okay. The final piece of this puzzle is the what relationship experts call an imbalance of power. Okay, power imbalance. And by that, I just mean a situation where one person is completely terrified and so afraid of the relationship ending. Oh my God, if this relationship ends out. And you are not only afraid, but you now let the other person see it and the other person knows it. All right. Now, during the early stages, it might have been on his best behavior, treating you like a princess, giving you princess treatment and all that. He showed up on time, he listened to you, and, he treated you like royalty and, takes you out, he wants to spend his time with you and all that. But you see, as time went on, he noticed how deeply attached you became to him. Okay, because they always notice, they always know. He noticed that your happiness now became completely dependent on him and his text messages and his calls and his presence and then his approval. You see? Once he realizes that you're so terrified of losing him, the moment a man realizes that you're so afraid of losing him, that's the end, okay? Because he's going to stop trying. That's the truth. He will. He will look at your fear of abandonment as as the very license to behave however he wants, all right? He's going to use it. He knows that no matter how poorly he acts, he knows that no matter what he does to you, your fear will keep you locked in place. You see that? And because he lacks the character or the emotional maturity to treat a vulnerable woman safely, he's going to use that fear as leverage to do the bare minimum, or better still, to do nothing. Okay, because he knows you always come after him. He knows you always be there. He knows you all. Why should I buy the cow when I already have the milk? You see that? And I know it's very bad. I know it's incredibly selfish, but again, I didn't make the rule. Okay. When a person realizes that you love them so much, you love them more than you love your own very self. You love them more than you love your own peace of mind. They will stop treating you like a partner and they will start treating you like a possession. Okay. They will move from treating you like a partner to a possession. All right. You don't want to, I don't think you want to leave your house and then you tell your furniture, hey, I'm leaving, bye bye. Or you tell your TV, hey, I'm leaving, bye. That's it. Okay. They treat you like a placeholder. Now let's go to the next one. Okay. Which is a strategy, what you need to do. Because now that we have broken down the why without blaming you, I'm not blaming you. Okay. Let's talk about the how. Okay. How do you retrain his behavior that he has all these things that he has been doing, and you take your power back when when you've already established a bad pattern? Okay, because it's possible. All right, some of us have done what is bad. So how do you retrain him? Because you can always retrain your bad dog. All right, you can always retrain your bad dog. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Number one, matches absence. Match his energy, okay? Match it, match it, match it. You have to match it. Because our natural instinct when someone treats us poorly or pulls away from us is to lean in and fix it because you don't want the relationship broken. You want to ask him what's wrong, or you want to explain for the 10th time why they hurt your feelings. You can explain to them once, all right? You can tell them once, you can let it out, all right? And whatever they say after that is an information. Please, you need to stop doing that right now, okay? If you tell him that he hurts you and he tells you and you ask him what he thinks or what, and he says, I don't have anything to say, that's fine, okay? That's okay, all right? You cannot teach a man to respect you by lecturing him. I said that before. If he shows you disrespect, you do not yell. You simply remove your energy, okay? Now, you can tell him what he did, okay? And whatever he does with that is his business, right? But withdraw your energy and take a step back. Let the empty space speak for itself, all right? Do not demand an apology. I'm not going to tell him, man, you have to apologize to me. No. Mm-mm. Let the silence create, let it show him exactly what it looks like without your warmth. All right? When you argue with someone who treats you badly, you're accidentally validating their behavior. Think of it like your dog. When you're mad at your dog and you're shouting and yelling, the dog doesn't understand your words. It understands your actions. So when you're yelling and you're shouting, it thinks, oh, my owner likes it. And then it continues doing that. But when you withdraw your energy, he understands. Okay. The next one is the visual blackout. All right. Let's talk about willpower. See, your willpower alone cannot fight the habit of people pleasing. You have to change your environment, and in this situation, your digital environment. Okay, archive his chat, delete the old chat, you don't need it. Mute his notifications, mute it, all right? And stop watching his social media pages to see what he's doing. You don't need that. It's not serving you. Because every time your phone light flashes, your brain, I don't want your brain to be jumping in panic, all right? So when you remove all of these things, you you let me tell you, all these things are constant visual reminders. So when you remove them, what you're doing is you're giving your nervous system the chance to calm down. Okay. You stop waiting on the door at the door for someone who doesn't respect your time. You can't do that to yourself. It's a lot. It messes up with your head, your heart, your brain, your energy, and everything. Okay. And then you start wondering what's going on. Why am I always nervous? This is the reason. This is one of the reasons. All right. The next thing we're going to do is you enforce the finality of the line. All right. When a boundary is crossed, you have to let him know, because a boundary is completely useless without consequences. If you tell him that I don't accept being spoken to this way, and he does it again, you must walk away immediately, even if you don't want to. Please do it. All right? Do it. You need to respect your own boundaries. No second chances if he doesn't apologize. No long discussions, and you don't negotiate your boundaries. You don't. Okay? Do your things, pack your things, hang up the phone, or leave the room. Okay? Show him that crossing that line would result in an immediate loss of your presence. If it's cool with the loss of your presence, then he doesn't love you in the first place. That's information. Okay? This your man must learn that access to your heart is a privilege that can be permanently revoked the moment respect is gone. Okay? It can be. And it should be. Okay? It should be. You see, I want to talk to you as my girlies, okay? I know that I've been shouting and yelling. I'm sorry. Okay. It's just that this thing is just it's preparing me. I want you to look at me, and I'm going to take a second and just look at you. Okay. I need you to clear away all these strategic steps, all the text messages, and all the noise for a moment. I didn't say you should abandon them. I said just let's put them aside for a second, okay? Because I know that all these things I'm saying, it's easier for you to do them when you're not in love with a man, okay? But it's fine. You love him so much and your heart is so heavy right now. You're hurting so badly. And I know how exhausting it is to carry the weight of a love that didn't know how to care for you back. It's just so mentally exhausting. Can mess you up, okay? And maybe you're sitting there feeling like I was too much, okay? I loved him too much. Or maybe you're feeling like, what if I wasn't enough for him? You're going to ask yourself a million and one questions. Sometimes you're even blaming yourself for being too kind or too patient or too open or too loving or too caring or this and that. Please, I need you to breathe, okay? Breathe out that heavy air. Breathe out of your body, okay? It's too much. It's too much. Let it go, okay? Please, let it go. I need you to hear me clearly, okay? You didn't do anything wrong by loving purely. No, you did nothing wrong, okay? You have the capacity to care, and that's why you did it. So your capacity to care and your warmth and your soft heart are not deficiencies. They are not defects. No, okay? These are your beautiful gifts, but you need to hand them over to the right person. So the fact that someone did not know how to handle you or handle a treasure that you are does not make the treasure any less valuable. It just means it's too emotionally immature and you need to give it to the right person. All right. It just also means that their hands were too small to hold it. And you have no control over that. All right. You are entirely, completely enough. Okay. Exactly as you are today. You're enough. All right. You do not need to shrink yourself. You don't need to change your soul or perform tricks to be worthy of a soft, respectful person, okay? And you don't need to perform tricks to have a love that is soft and consistent and respectful. I know it might feel like a safe harbor, not a stormy sea, and that's okay. But you see, you deserve a man who would treat you like an egg, who looks at your boundaries and respects you even more for them. Oh my God, that's so sweet. I just heard that, and it's so sweet. See? So, sweetheart, tuck your heart back into safety tonight, all right? Be gentle with yourself, okay? You are reclaiming your power and you're going to do it beautifully, okay? See, we are going to walk this path together, okay? Sister to sister, girl to girl, baby girl to baby girl, okay? And if you felt safe here today, please subscribe so you can always find your way back to this corner of peace, all right? Don't forget to drop a heart, a red or white or blue or pink emoji in the comment section below just to let me know that you're here and you're holding your head up high. All right. I love you so much. And I am so incredibly proud of you. Okay. I'm honestly, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And remember that the fact that a man does not have the capacity to love you well does not mean that you're less or you're not worthy of love or worthy of being loved. Okay, if this man doesn't treat you well and you don't remove yourself from that environment, it might be so hard for you to now get into a place where you feel loved and respected, where you're going to get that love and that respect and that care, that princess treatment that you desire. Okay, there is nothing wrong with desiring to be treated like a princess. I'm serious. Okay, I'm serious. And that's why princesses don't beg to be respected. Okay, respect is just a mutual thing. All right, it's not because, you see, every woman desires to respect their man. But if you keep tolerating disrespect enough, because we are humans, okay, it's just a matter of time before you're going to flip, okay? And you see what happens is, if a man keeps disrespecting you and you keep taking it and you keep taking it and you love this man too much to fight him back, you will redirect all of that energy on the other people in your life. That's what happens sometimes. Okay. You now start getting unnecessarily angry with your friends, your colleagues, your co workers, or maybe your children. That's what happens because you cannot fight this man back. You naturally want to fight the people, the other people around you. You start bleeding on people that didn't hurt you. Why do you want to do that to yourself? Why? And like I said at the beginning of this video, this is not a trick, whatever. This is not a trick video. This is not a manipulating video. Okay. I'm not here to teach you 10 ways to trick a man who has no business falling in love with you, how to how to manipulate him or trick him into loving you. No, you cannot love a man into loving you. That's a very grave mistake that I don't want you to make. All right. We're talking about a man that once showed interest in you. Okay. We're talking about a man that once showed you that he loved you so much. And now because you showed him that, because you fell in love with him. It's not a crime to fall in love, okay? If a man comes to you and he tells you he loves you and he shows you all this affection and gives you his attention and everything, it is just natural, except you're not a normal human being. It is natural for you to fall in love with him because you're soft, okay? I expect you to be the soft, feminine, intelligent woman with a soft heart and a big, hot, banging body. So that's normal, all right? But when you start falling in love with him and then he starts changing, that is what we are talking about here, all right? And one more thing before I leave, I need you to treat this thing as very important because you need to look at your relationship like cement, all right? When the thing is still, soft and, it's still wet, it is easy to mold, okay? The moment you leave it and it hardens, it is so hard to to now mold it into the shape that you want, okay? So before it gets into a shape that you don't want, please mold it into the shape that you want. Correct this immediately. At the very first disrespect, you need to address it, okay? Do not take disrespect from this man for 3 years and then you suddenly want to start changing. It might not be easy, okay? At that time, he's already used to disrespecting you. And if you want to start by that time, because it's human, it's used to it will start looking at you like, okay, this woman has changed. Okay, someone is teaching her something now. Okay, so if you have the opportunity to change now, if you have the opportunity to correct that behavior now, this is the best time for you to do it. Okay, the best time for you to do it is right now, is today. Okay, but I'm not saying you should go home and start yelling at him and start shouting. No, you don't have to do that. Okay, you just need to, if you need to watch this video over and over again, watch it, and if you follow the steps I promise you, it works, okay? By the grace of God, it works. One final thing I want to leave you with is principles don't stop working just because you start applying them. Okay, that beautiful Barbie girl that you're watching on Instagram that is getting everything she wants, she's probably applying these strategies. You don't know. Okay, so don't sit there and say, I don't have the energy to do all these things, all because of a man. No, it's not because of a man, it's because of you. Okay, so if you admire a woman that is getting results in a relationship, and you want to get the same result, you have to be willing and ready to do the work, to put in the work. Okay, nothing happens by chance. No, no, no. Nothing good happens by chance. Let me say that. If you clean your house, okay, you hire professional cleaners and you lock the house for 3 years, when you get back into that house is not going to be clean. I need you to understand that. So your relation, just like your work, your business, your health, your profession, just like every other area or every other aspect of your life demands consistent work and demands that you pay attention to it, to them, demands that you you apply wisdom and strategy. You also need to know that your love life is not an exception if you want to achieve those results. Okay, I love you, and I will see you in the next conversation. Bye.